Here's something we can all agree on. We need more housing in Canada. But that the government should step up and make sure that housing gets built, that's where some people disagree. Take federal lands, land that's owned by the federal government that isn't being used anymore. The Conservative Party leader wants to sell it all off to make a quick buck. That does nothing for you. The federal government owns tons of land in cities and towns across the country. You could build a lot of homes on those lands, so that's what we're going to do. We're offering up that public land for housing. And we're not just going to sell it all to developers, we're going to long-term lease it. See, by leasing the land, we get to work with communities to make sure that home builders are building the right homes, homes you can afford. We've got land, we got lots of houses to build, so that's exactly what we're going to do.
This is Dan Dicks here reporting for Press for Truth. The World Economic Forum is a global think tank that is made up essentially of lobbyists who are attempting to shape foreign policy on a global scale. It was founded by this man here, Klaus Schwab. He's a German engineer. He founded the organization in 1971 with dreams of eventually offering global solutions to global problems. And in 2016, the WEF published this video on Facebook, making 8 predictions. And the number one prediction was that you will own nothing and be happy. This was based on an article that was published by the World Economic Forum back in 2016 titled, "Welcome to 2030. I own nothing, I have no privacy, and life has never been better." And in a nutshell, folks, what they're essentially talking about here is how things are getting bad, global wars are escalating, tensions are continuing to rise, and they say this is going to continue, and eventually they're going to need to offer some sort of order out of the chaos in the form of a great reset. In fact, just last week I published this, and WEF's Klaus Schwab warns the world to prepare for an era of shock events. So this is something that they constantly talk about and warn about. And as I said, what they're offering here is the solution to the problems, the order out of the chaos is what this all stems down to. And this is where this "you will own nothing and have no privacy and you'll be happy" in doing so, because that's what they want to offer. Now, in case you didn't know, this man, Klaus Schwab, has openly admitted to infiltrating various cabinets around the world, like the Trudeau government. Listen here as he talks about how literally his very own WEF puppets have penetrated the cabinets of Justin Trudeau. Listen closely.
When I mention now names like Mrs. Merkel, even Vladimir Putin and so on, they all have been young global leaders of the World Economic Forum. Mm-hmm. But what we are very proud of now is the young generation, like Prime Minister Trudeau, President of Argentina and so on, that we penetrate the cabinets. So yesterday I was at a reception for Prime Minister Trudeau, and I know that half of this cabinet, or even more, half of this cabinet are actually young global leaders of the world economy.
Half of Justin Trudeau's cabinet, or as he says, maybe even more than half of Justin Trudeau's cabinet, is made up of his WEF young global leaders. So he's essentially saying they've managed to penetrate the cabinets, infiltrate various governments of the world to institute and to input their ideas. And so this is where this is coming from. Trudeau talking about we've got land, we got houses to build, so this is exactly what we're going to do. No, this falls under the Great Reset plan that his puppet string pullers are trying to get him to carry out. Now, in case you didn't know, Justin Trudeau is also a puppet of this man, George Soros, who, back when they met, convinced him to open up the borders to allow illegal migrants to come absolutely flooding in, and that it would be great. Diversity will be our strength. He convinced him. And we documented that back then with this one, Trouble at ROXHAM Road, Migrant Crisis Exposed, where we said ROXHAM Road in Quebec may soon become a popular destination site for tourists who want to experience what it's like to be pampered and treated like royalty while invading another nation. This popular destination now boasts hosting an average of 600 new visitors a day. Sounds like a dream vacation spot, right? Well, unfortunately, this is an exclusive offer to non-Canadians only. In this video, Lee Stewart of Press for Truth, this is back when Lee was doing correspondence for PFT, and she put together this fantastic piece. She breaks down her recent trip to ROXHAM Road in Quebec, where she documented the steady flow of unvetted migrants crossing the border, while pointing out the fact that this isn't a crisis because a crisis is not preventable. So here you have the Canadian government, helping these illegal migrants, come in undocumented, giving them housing, all while right here things are already impossibly unaffordable. Housing Report ranks Vancouver as the third most expensive city in the world. Ladies and gentlemen, so having said all that, Canada's government now is unveiling the strategy to build housing on federal lands. Here's the website they've released, the Canada Public Land Bank. They even have an interactive map here where you can look at the various properties that are, open for proposal or that are open for feedback. So in this video, guys, we're going to break down all of this, this blatant propaganda coming from Justin Trudeau as he attempts to, continue to go for this land grab and disguise it, disguise this form of communism as if he's doing something good for Canada, guys. So we're going to break all of this down for you in this video. Really quickly, though, just before I do, I'd ask that you check me out here at pressfortruth.ca/donate. if you appreciate my efforts to bring you this info. Guys, here you can do a one-time donation with PayPal. You can do Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies. You can sign up here for a monthly reoccurring contribution. You can also do so here at Subscribestar. $5 a month, $10 a month, whatever is within your means is very greatly appreciated, guys. You can also send an e-transfer to dan@pressfortruth.ca. Thank you so much to everybody who does contribute in that way. Or you can send stuff to my P.O. box, guys. Links for all of this is located in the description below. Once again, thank you so much to everybody who takes 1 minute today to contribute to my efforts here to bring you this information here at Press for Truth. All right, guys, in case you didn't know, the majority of land ownership in Canada is held by the Crown, the government, essentially the king. The majority of all lands in Canada are held by governments as public lands known as Crown lands. About 89% of Canada's land area is Crown land, which may be either federal, 41%, or provincial, 48%, and the remaining 11% is privately owned. So here you have a scenario where already nearly 90% of the land in Canada is already owned by the Crown, by the government, by the king, and only 11% is owned by private property owners, and they now want to reduce that number to a great degree. And if you think that the houses that they're going to be building here are the type of dream home you've been thinking about for yourself and your family, you might want to think again. I'll remind you of what Trudeau announced not long ago with this $600 million, budget for home building innovations, where he's talking about bringing in 3D printed homes. So if you had in your mind that, yay, they're going to set up new homes for people and we're going to have a nice little, a comfortable little family home for ourselves, you better realize it's probably going to look something more like this 3D printed piece of crap, because everything the government puts their hands on, they just absolutely destroy. So let's break this down here, one soundbite at a time, what he's trying to convince everybody of here, and hopefully you already are going to see it for what it really is, but let's just break it down here.
Here's something we can all agree on. We need more housing in Canada, but that the government should step up and make sure that housing gets built, that's where some people disagree.
Well, no, the disagreement doesn't necessarily come in on whether or not the government should help people with housing. The disagreement here, the fundamental issue at hand here, is who gets to own the land that the house is built on. And they want to shift this around to slowly eradicate all private home ownership. So eventually 100% of this will be owned by the crown. This is, again, playing into this you will own nothing eventually as part of the WEF's dream for 2030.
Take federal lands, land that's owned by the federal government that isn't being used anymore. The Conservative Party leader wants to sell it all off to make a quick buck. That does nothing for you.
See, he's making it sound like the Conservatives just want to sell the land just to make money. Well, this is something that the Canadian government has been doing for years. This is nothing new. This is not a new strategy. The new part comes in where they want to remove the private ownership from you and hand it into the hands of the government. That's the only thing that he's attempting to change here with this new strategy.
The federal government owns tons of land in cities and towns across the country. You can build a lot of homes on those lands, so that's what we're going to do. We're offering up that public land for housing. And we're not just going to sell it all to developers, we're going to long-term lease it.
Guys, he's making it sound like selling it to developers is a bad thing, and that long-term lease is a good thing. What do you think long-term lease means? Long-term lease means you will never, ever own this particular piece of property, and you will always be renting and having this guy or the king as your landlord. That's how they're trying to sugarcoat this land takeover here, this blatant act of communism. Like as if this long-term lease is a good thing here.
See, by leasing the land, we get to work with communities to make sure that home builders are building the right homes.
Oh,
homes you can afford.
Make sure that they're building the right homes. Yeah, like what you have slated for Canadians. Should you start engaging in this? Absolutely ridiculous.
We've got land. We got lots of houses to build. So that's exactly what we're going to do.
And on top of this, guys, check this out. Furthermore, the 2024 federal budget provides $500 million to launch this new public lands acquisition fund, where the federal government is going to buy up land from other levels of government to enable the federal government to acquire more land for housing and to help build middle-class homes. Again, this is such a massive scam that he's trying to convince Canadians of here, to openly take part in this great reset agenda where they will willingly give up their things. They will be happy. Life has never been better. They will be happy to own nothing and have zero privacy. Again, that's the agenda of Klaus Schwab. That's the agenda of the World Economic Forum. That's what the Great Reset is all about. And that's precisely what Justin Trudeau is attempting to usher in here with this with this, blatant communism that is disguised as somehow attempting to help Canadian families get a home. It's absolutely nonsense, and it should be rejected, lock, stock, and barrel, guys. So just wanted to bring all of that to your attention. You can check the links in the description below for all of the videos that I talked about here. Make sure you watch this one from Lee Stewart. She put together a fantastic piece back then. And once again, guys, if you do appreciate my efforts to bring you this info, don't forget to check me out here, pressfortruth.ca/donate. Once again, I can't do this work without the help coming directly from you, the viewers, guys. So if this is something you appreciate, please take 1 minute today to click that top link in the description below on whatever video platform you happen to be watching this on today. And that's all for today, guys. I want to thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to click the thumbs up button, share this video, and stay tuned, guys. We're going to have more video reports coming soon. This is Dan Dicks reporting for Press for Truth. We all want truth. The truth will set you free.